I recently made a video showing you how to create your own spawns for the 7 Days to Die Twitch integration. If you watched it, you might already be scheming up some fun spawns to surprise your chat with. However, as some of you may have noticed with the new build updates to Alpha 20, when the game updates, you lose all of your modified XML files and have to redo them. But there is a better way. You can make small modlets that will not change when the game updates, and unless there is a direct conflict with the update, should allow your modified XML spawns to stay on your game through an update. This is a big time saver, so let's get into it. Important note, this video is only for making modlets for newly created spawns, loot items, or entities, or things like that. It will not work if you are simply making edits to existing features in the game. Only if you are making new ones. For example, if you are making a new spawn, this will be the video you are looking for. Even if you are using existing entities because you are making something new, like a new spawn, this is the modlet you are looking for. However, if you are trying to edit an existing feature in the Twitch XML, for example, to change how long a cooldown is or something like that of an existing thing, this is not the modlet style you need. I will be making a future video about those kinds of modlets, but this is not that video. If you are new to editing XML, you will want to have Notepad++ or a similar program downloaded to your computer and ready to go before you begin this tutorial. A link to a video on how to do this is in the tab above or in the description below. You will want to have open each of the files you have edited in XML to add in your new spawns, loot, etc. So you probably are working with the files twitch.xml and gameevents.xml at least, but possibly also entityclasses.xml or loot.xml, or perhaps a few others. Open these up in Notepad++. Alongside each of these, you will want to open up a new XML file by selecting File, then New, and having a blank document for each of the files you have edited, plus one extra for a mod info file. Create a folder somewhere on your PC with the name of the modlet you are making. I like to name mine after the spawn itself I have made, and then inside that folder, you will need a folder called Config. Config is where you will save all of your new XML files that I will show you how to make in a moment. On a blank XML file, save the file into your folder, but not inside the config part of the folder, and name it modinfo with a capital M and I. Then inside the file, you will need to have the basics as I have shown on my screen. Angle brackets for XML, then modinfo, which then has a line for name, description, author, and version, and then ending the modinfo and ending the XML as shown here. Then for each item, name, description, author, and version, you can edit this based on what your modlet is about. In the case of my modlet here, I have called it the same name as the spawn, spawn_blameprime. The description tells what the mod does on a basic level, so this can say anything you need it to say within the quotation marks, and then the author would be your name, and the version value would be the version of your modlet itself. So you could do 1.0 if this is the first version of it, or write something like A20 to show it is valid for A20. Whatever makes sense for your organization style. Be sure to include all quotes, backslashes, and angle bracket marks as they are all important. Your edits should only go in between the quotation marks. Save when complete. So for each of your edited XML files for your spawn or loot crate or whatever you have created, you will need a blank XML file named exactly the same as that file. For example, if you have changes to the twitch.xml, loot.xml, gameevents.xml, and entityclasses.xml, you will need 4 new XML files to be created, and each of these should in turn be called twitch.xml, loot.xml, gameevents.xml, and entityclasses.xml, and saved into the config folder you created before that is inside your mod folder. Then for each of these files at the top, you will put an angle bracket or less than sign, the word configs, and an angle bracket or the greater than sign. Enter down and you will put an angle bracket and the word append, space, then xpath equals, quotation mark, backslash, name of XML file you're editing, so Twitch, game events, loot, entity classes, whatever it is. I will show an example of each. Entity classes is special. It has entity_classes. So just be careful for the ones that have multiple ones like that. Game events is one word. After you're done writing the name of the file, there you're going to do end quote and an angle bracket to end it. Enter down and you can copy and paste all of your changes for your mod that were made to this particular file. So for twitch.xml, all the changes that you made to the Twitch file, put that in here. Then enter down again, do an angle bracket, backslash, the word append, and another angle bracket. This means end the appendage to the original XML file. Enter down again and type angle bracket, backslash, type the word configs, and then angle bracket to end it. This means you're done editing the configs in this document. Do the same thing for each type of XML file, Twitch, game events, loot, entity classes, whatever you're editing for your file. And remember to save them all, again, keeping them in that config file you made within your mod folder. If you have never added modlets to a local game or server before, I will now show you how to do that. First, go into your game files by going Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common, 7 Days to Die. Now here you want to create a folder called Mods. Inside that folder you want to move each of your modlet folders exactly the way you've created them into this mod folder. So you should have a folder with the name of your mod that contains another folder called config and a mod info XML document. Inside config should be your changed files to game events, Twitch, loot, entities, whatever you've adjusted. If you are using a server, if you have access to loading your own files, you would do the same thing, creating a folder called mods and create folders exactly like you have created them and upload each document to your server. Here is what my mod folder looks like currently on my local game and on my server. To test, delete the changes you made to those files in the original game files you had edited, since I'm sure you've tested them on there first. Since your mod folder is now added to your mods folder for the game, you no longer need those. Then open up the game and test as you normally would for created spawns or loot crates, and you're all set to go. Any errors is probably a problem with the code itself, or maybe you forgot a backslash or a angle bracket or quotation mark or something like that, or maybe you forgot to copy and paste a part of a file. So make sure you include all the parts to your spawn or your created item that you made in each of these files, and don't forget any files that you may have included, as missing something like that will cause it to have an error. In order to check that you have no errors, first you can open the game and see if there is any obvious error messages. If not, then you can open up a new file on your computer and click at the top of the bar where you should see something like this PC. Then type %appdata% with no spaces. Then go to your saved world, whatever that may be that you just opened. Then go to configs dump and scroll down to the edited files and open each of them in Notepad. You will then be able to scroll to the bottom, since they should be new things, although you can also use the find feature, and find your edits. This will showcase that your edits are showing up on the game world files themselves. Be careful not to edit these Notepad files, as these are just your game world files and you don't really want to be making edits to them directly here. Only use this file to verify that your changes have taken place. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. Let me know what other sorts of instructional videos you would like to see more of in the comments below. Like and subscribe for more videos like this one, and check out some more of my videos like this one on how to make crates drop after defeating a spawn group of zombies.